Well, since the devastating earthquake in Haiti, Americans from all over are trying to pitch in. But here in Connecticut, there is one group that's been making a big difference, one book at a time, since 2006. They're a grassroots nonprofit organization called The Reading Room. They build libraries in some of the areas and help young people rebuild their lives. Here to share more about this amazing organization, please welcome one of the founders of The Reading Room, Paul Wicks. Thank you so much for being here. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about this Reading Room. How did The Reading Room come about?
Well, I originally went to Haiti for the first time in 1991 on a church mission trip. And we visited hospitals and orphanages and schools, and I was really struck by a couple things. One is just the extreme poverty in Haiti. It's at a level that it's really hard for people here to comprehend. You see suffering and heartbreaking sights that you just couldn't imagine. And of course, this is all before the earthquake. And the other thing that struck me is the incredible spirit of the Haitian people. Just how wonderful they are, how determined they are to improve their lives, and just how thankful they are for anything that you can do for them. So, you know, I came back, and like a lot of people who've been to Haiti, I came back really changed and determined to do something. So for years, my wife Elizabeth and I worked through our church to help a school down there. And then in 2006, we actually incorporated our own nonprofit called The Reading Room, designed to support literacy at several schools in Haiti.
And what you do is you take books and supplies right to the schools. Tell us how all that works.
Sure. Yeah, in Haiti, what happens is the illiteracy rate's about 50%. And the reason for that is that most kids, or many kids, can't go to school because you actually have to pay to go to school. There isn't free public education like there is here. So because it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, a lot of families can't afford to send their kids to school. Or if they do, they may send some of their kids and not others. So for example, if you have 5 kids, 2 boys and 3 girls, a lot of times the families will send the 2 boys and the girls will never get educated. So you have private schools and church-run schools that step in and fill the void and provide these kids with an education either for free or for a very reduced rate.
Wow.
And these schools tend to operate really on a shoestring. They put all of their resources into the building and into teachers' salaries.
But don't have the supplies.
That's exactly right. So what we do, and they don't even have classroom libraries or books, so the kids will have their textbooks for the curriculum, but most of these kids never own a book or never really get to go to a library in the school and read books.
Now, we are looking at some pictures here. Are these some of the kids that you serve?
They are, yes. That's actually at the Bethesda School in Port-au-Prince, and that's one of the classes and the teacher.
Now, Paul, tell us about this. Since the earthquake, I mean, major devastation. We know that Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world. How have the schools that you help been directly affected? I mean, what are you hearing? What are you being told?
Well, the good news is none of the schools were destroyed. So all the schools have been damaged, and they do need repairs to get up and running again, but none of the schools actually collapsed. But the conditions are desperate. It's very difficult for people to get food and water. There's been a number of students and family members who have been killed. In fact, one of our schools, Ecole Agape, there's a woman who helps run the school administratively, and she died when her office building in Port-au-Prince collapsed.
Sorry to hear that.
And so the needs are just overwhelming. So we've been doing the best we can to try to get money down there so they can spend it on buying supplies and buying medical equipment and other things that they need.
And when you say supplies, you and I were talking, you said in your basement it's already filled with supplies, but the need is really with money. Tell us why that is so much more in need instead of the supplies, so people get a better idea of you know, what you need.
Well, Port-au-Prince is a city of 2 million people, and the aid agencies are doing a wonderful job getting to as many people as they can, but it takes a long time, and the 3 schools in the Port-au-Prince area that we deal with really aren't getting, you know, large amounts of aid yet. So they need money to go, you know, out into the farm country surrounding Port-au-Prince and buy food, or to buy, you know, medicine and other things they need just to get through until the aid agencies can reach them and until life can return to some semblance of normal again.
And you just sent down some money with one of the people that you work with, is that right?
We did. In fact, we have a friend who's a nurse, and she went down and visited, she went down Saturday to visit 2 of the schools, and she hand-carried some money with her so that they could use it to buy food and other things that they need.
And that's refreshing to hear for some people. I think the major organizations are definitely beneficial and great, but for other people who are looking to donate directly to someone and have that direct link to someone, I think your organization is great. I want to quickly mention that the need is so great, and on your website you say the average income per person is approximately $300, life expectancy 54, 1 in 20 Haitians have AIDS. I mean, that's huge in terms of just understanding the need that Haiti, I mean, Haiti just needs help. So people who want to help out, how do they contact you?
Well, they could send us a check, and they can send it to the Reading Room at P.O. Box 535, South Windsor, Connecticut, 06074.
And we actually have your website on the bottom there on this graphic here, Paul, for folks that can help out, because we know that the need is great, and we want people to chip in and help you and the Reading Room and the organization. Empowering Haiti. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks
appreciate
so much
it,
for being
Desiree.
here. Thanks for sharing. Keep us posted as to what's going on and what you all are doing.
We will.
Please. All right, everybody.